Jon Jones successfully defended the UFC Heavyweight Championship against Stipe Miocic at UFC 309, to add yet another scalp to his list of vanquished all-time greats. However, Miocic hadn't won a fight since 2020, but Jones doesn't care about that sort of thing.
I feel really, really great. You know, I haven't watched the fight yet, but based on my team's reactions, you know, they said, Jon, you performed great. Being out there, you want things to go perfect, and nothing ever goes perfect in the cage. You're not going to land every shot. You're going to get hit. But I feel really good. I just can't wait to watch it. Yeah. It's hard to say what my reaction is, you know. I've won a lot of world championships, so it's a very familiar feeling. But I am very, very grateful. I'm so grateful.
The issue surrounding the bout was that the only people who really wanted this fight were Jones and Miocic. Jones, widely regarded as one of the greatest fighters of all time, dominated the light heavyweight division for a decade before vacating the title in 2020. His only fight since then was a dominant victory over Cyril Gane at UFC 285, where he claimed the vacant heavyweight crown. Despite his marked inactivity at the time, Jones confidently declared himself as one of the sport's elite, having learned from the very best and now believing he belonged in that same conversation.
You know, it's been amazing, you know, having guys like Anderson, Spider Silva to look up to. There's a lot of guys. There's Uriah Faber. I have a long list of guys that I've always admired. George St. Pierre. These guys were great examples to me in many different ways. You know, some for their fighting skills, some for the way they transcended the sport. And I'm grateful to be in this position now. I'm very aware that I've impacted many people's lives around the world. And it's just, it's a huge honor, and it's a true pleasure to be in this position. Truly blessed.
Everyone wants to see Jones perform, especially now that he's the heavyweight king. And taking on Miocic should have been the exact sort of fight he should have taken, if it were 2022. Miocic, a former two-time UFC heavyweight champ and literal fireman, who is widely considered the heavyweight GOAT, had also been out of action for nearly 4 years. And he was 42. His last outing was when he lost the title to Francis Ngannou back in 2021. Cage rust would have been a major concern, even if he wasn't fighting for a title against a 37-year-old legend.
I mean, nothing new. I mean, Jon's done well. I mean, he's power pound, he's the best. You know, they call him the GOAT, and it is what it is. I mean, nothing new to me, and listen, I train just as hard as anyone else.
Miocic first signed on to face Jones in November of 2023, but Jones was forced to withdraw from that bout due to a torn pectoral muscle. An interim title bout was made between Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall, which Aspinall won with his 7th first-round knockout in the UFC. As the interim champion, that's the man who should have been fighting Jones for the full title. But Jones wanted his legacy GOAT versus GOAT battle, and he got it. The champ would face the fireman he once respected both in and out of the cage.
You know, I feel like Stipe has this. You know, everyone likes first responders. You know, and I actually respect men and women in the armed forces and law enforcement, things like that. And so I made it a point to try to be very respectful to him. And there's been 2 scenarios now. First scenario, he said, my kids will never look at me like I'm an asshole. That was a direct attack to me and my family and my relationship with my kids. Second attack was him calling me a bitch. And so the respect is a little bit out the window, and we'll see that on Saturday. I see it.
The build-up to the GOAT versus GOAT battle became tense, with Jones, who has matured over the years, feeling like the fight had become personal. The former champ, a typically stoic and straightforward man, couldn't care less.
I don't remember saying when my kids look. I don't remember saying that when my kids look at me like an asshole. That was no direct thing to him, and that when I said bring it on, bitch, it was pretty much he was calling me out, telling me he's gonna beat my ass in front of a whole arena of people. So sorry for defending myself. I apologize.
On the scales, the 2 men looked the part. Miocic, known for his methodical, workmanlike approach, entered the octagon looking lean, as always, for a heavyweight. On the other hand, Jones appeared like a bulked-up version of his former self, his physique reminiscent of a light heavyweight who had simply added more mass to his frame. Looks can be deceiving though, and Jones pieced up Miocic with a beautiful display of striking and some heavy ground and pound in round 1. In round 3 though, he landed a spinning back kick that you usually don't see in the big boy division, and it got the job done.
We started about 6 months ago, we started doing the spinning back kick. He would come over my house 3 days a week, and I've worked that same kick from both stances 3 hours a week for several months. And Bruce Lee says that he doesn't fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks, but the man who has worked one kick 10,000 times. And man, I put a lot of work in with that spinning back kick, and it's getting faster and more unpredictable. There's really no tell when it's coming, and it's a devastating shot.
What's next for Miocic is easy. I'm done. I'm hanging him up. I'm retiring, Miocic said after the loss. Thank God. Miocic retires having had 2 reigns as the heavyweight champion and his 4 successful defenses, 3 consecutive defenses, 6 title wins, 4 stoppage wins in title fights, 4 knockout wins in title fights, and 9 post-fight bonuses are all heavyweight records. He's the undisputed heavyweight GOAT. And while Jones beat the heavyweight GOAT, he'll never overtake him as the heavyweight GOAT. That's judging by the man he's calling out for his next fight, because it's the wrong guy. As the interim champion, Aspinall is clearly the man he has to fight next. Otherwise, Jones's UFC championship is completely disputed. Instead, Jones is calling out the light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira.
I'm not really worried about the Tom fight. I'm really worried about the Pereira fight. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do, and I think if the UFC wants to have me back, then I think that's the fight they'll make. I've been really clear about my intentions. That's what I want, and I mean, I just feel like anybody would understand at this point. Like, you know, I'll retire the heavyweight belt if I have to. It's like, dude, give the guy what he wants at the end of the day, you know? And I'm not talking to Dana directly. I feel like I'm at a place now where, you know, like I want to take what I find to be super fights.
Pereira is a beast. He's a former dual division Glory kickboxing world champion, the former UFC middleweight champion, and as the current light heavyweight champion, he's already defended the title 3 times in less than a year. But the incredibly dangerous Aspinall has the interim title, so Jones must fight him. It looks like ducking, but Jones doesn't care.
I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champions. So Tom can have the heavyweight championship. I don't really care about it. That my value doesn't lie in belts anymore. I've created something much bigger. I want Pereira.
In the action-packed co-main event, former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira secured a dominant victory over Michael Chandler, making it 2-0 in their rivalry and possibly earning himself another shot at the lightweight title. The two first faced off in 2021, with Dubronx emerging victorious in a thrilling fight that eventually saw him claim the vacant UFC Lightweight Championship. He then defended the belt twice before dropping it to Islam Makhachev. The man Chandler was originally slated to fight was Conor McGregor, and he waited more than a year for that hugely lucrative bout to take place before McGregor's continual delays forced him to pivot. Oliveira agreed to face Chandler in this high-stakes bout that was presented as a potential title eliminator, with the winner possibly securing a future championship fight. The Brazilian dominated the action, showcasing his elite skills in both striking and grappling, until Chandler finally floored Oliveira in the 5th. There were several moments where Chandler appeared to land illegal blows, but Oliveira weathered the storm and secured the win. Oliveira now has his sights set on a rematch with Islam Makhachev for the belt, but the reigning champ is expected to face Arman Sarukian in his next defense. Oliveira dropped a contentious split decision to Sarukian earlier this year, but he'll take on whoever wears the gold. For sure, I want to be a champion. Everybody knows this, Oliveira said at the post-fight news conference. I'm not looking for any of them. I'm looking for that belt. Whoever's got that belt, that's who I want. Oliveira and Chandler's 5-round war won UFC 309's Fight of the Night. Performance bonuses went to Johnny Bones, Ramiz Brahima, and Oban Elliott, but not Jim Miller. His first-round guillotine that extended his record for most UFC wins in history wasn't good enough.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.